The Big Valley, 1965 to 1969, is a classic American Western drama that captured hearts with its powerful storytelling and unforgettable characters. The show's talented cast brought the struggles and triumphs of the Barkley family to life, making it a beloved series for generations. Sadly, over the years, some of these remarkable actors have tragically passed away, leaving fans with cherished memories of their performances. In this video, we pay tribute to the stars of the Big Valley who are no longer with us, celebrating their legacy and the lasting impact they made on television history. Join us as we honor these legends and reflect on their unforgettable contributions. Richard Long took on the role of Jared Barkley in the Big Valley at the age of 38 in 1965, portraying the eldest Barkley sibling as a calm, principled, and polished attorney. Jared was the thoughtful voice of reason in a family often driven by passion, his quiet strength and moral compass grounding the narrative of the series. Long's portrayal brought a sophisticated charm and emotional subtlety, embodying a man who carried the weight of family legacy on his shoulders with dignity. Behind this composed figure, Richard Long's own life was a tapestry of hardship and perseverance. Born on December 17, 1927, in Chicago, Illinois, and growing up during the Great Depression in a working-class family, Long experienced early financial insecurity, which deeply influenced his stoic yet empathetic approach to acting. His service in the U.S. Army during the Korean War was a defining chapter, exposing him to harsh realities that later informed his grounded performances. Long's personal life was fraught with tragedy. His first wife, actress Susan Ball, died from cancer at a young age, a loss that cast a long shadow over his life. This heartbreak was compounded by his own health struggles. He suffered a serious heart attack in 1961, a sign of the fragile constitution that would ultimately claim his life. Despite these challenges, Long carved out a steady career in television and film over nearly 30 years, gaining respect for his professionalism and dedication. His unexpected death on December 21, 1974, at the age of 47 from heart failure shocked fans and colleagues alike, cutting short a promising trajectory. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $13 million, a reflection not only of his career achievements but also of the enduring impact of his work. Long's life off-screen was marked by a quiet struggle with loss, illness, and the pressures of Hollywood stardom, painting a portrait of a man whose resilience and talent outshone the personal battles he fought in private. V. Peter Breck took on the role of Nick Barkley in the Big Valley in 1965 at the age of 36, becoming the show's fiery, hot-headed middle son and the rugged foreman of the Barkley Ranch. Nick's character was defined by his fierce loyalty, impulsive nature, and a readiness to defend family honor with fists or firearms, a man whose leather gloves and booming voice became iconic symbols of rugged Western masculinity. Breck's intense, magnetic portrayal gave Nick a palpable emotional depth, blending vulnerability beneath a tough exterior. Breck's life story off-camera was equally compelling and marked by a series of transformations and tragedies. Born on March 13, 1929, in Rochester, New York, raised in modest circumstances, he served in the U.S. Navy during a formative period of his life and even played professional basketball, experiences that contributed to his physicality and discipline as an actor. Tragedy struck when Breck's son died of leukemia, a devastating blow that deeply affected him emotionally and reshaped his worldview. This personal loss likely informed the depth of feeling he brought to his work and his commitment to mentoring young actors through the acting school he founded in Vancouver. Breck's later years were shadowed by dementia, a cruel decline that stripped away the mental sharpness that had once made him a commanding screen presence. He passed away on February 6, 2012, at age 82. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at around $10 million, accumulated over decades of steady work in television, film, and education. His legacy is one of passionate commitment to family, to his craft, and to passing on his knowledge. Breck embodied a uniquely American archetype, the strong, loyal, and sometimes conflicted man, whose life was punctuated by both triumph and sorrow, revealing the complicated humanity beneath the cowboy myth. Barbara Stanwick was 58 years old when she stepped into the role of Victoria Barkley in the Big Valley in 1965, delivering a commanding performance as the strong-willed, dignified matriarch of the Barkley family. Victoria was a woman who fought to maintain her family's legacy and navigate the challenges of the Old West with fierce protection and emotional complexity, a character that perfectly mirrored Stanwick's own life of resilience. Born Ruby Catherine Stevens on July 16, 1907, in Brooklyn, New York, orphaned at just 4 years old and raised in a series of foster homes, Stanwick's ascent from hardship to Hollywood stardom was legendary. She began her career as a chorus girl, quickly rising through the ranks to become one of the most celebrated actresses of her time, known for her versatility and emotional intensity. Stanwick earned 4 Academy Award nominations and 3 Emmy Awards, including one for her work on The Big Valley, cementing her status as a television icon. Despite her fame, she fiercely guarded her private life, never remarrying after her divorce from Robert Taylor and remaining intensely protective of her personal boundaries. Stanwick's later years were marked by health challenges, including congestive heart failure and chronic pulmonary disease, which ultimately led to her death on January 20, 1990, at the age of 82. Her net worth at the time was estimated at $10 million, a testament to a prolific and enduring career. Beyond the financials, Stanwick's legacy lies in her cultural impact. She helped redefine the role of women on screen as strong, complex figures who commanded respect and elicited empathy. Her story, both on and off screen, is one of extraordinary grit and determination, a Hollywood legend who rose from the depths of childhood adversity to become a beacon of strength and sophistication in American entertainment. Douglas Kennedy stepped into the world of the Big Valley in 1965 at the age of 50, taking on the roles of Sheriff Fred Madden and Alexander Morrison, characters that embodied a commanding presence defined by authority and moral clarity. Born on September 14, 1915, in New York City, Kennedy's early life was far from the glamour of Hollywood. Raised during the economically turbulent years of the Great Depression, his family faced significant financial hardships, instilling in him a resilience and work ethic that would become crucial for his acting career. He began his trajectory in the entertainment industry with minor roles, steadily building a reputation as a reliable character actor known for his deep, resonant voice and ability to portray stern, dependable men of law and order. Over the course of his career, Kennedy amassed over 190 film and television credits, including notable appearances in The Lone Ranger, Perry Mason, and Bonanza, yet he was often trapped in the typecast of the no-nonsense authority figure, a double-edged sword that guaranteed work but limited artistic exploration. Off-camera, Kennedy was known as a private and disciplined individual, eschewing Hollywood's social scene and focusing intently on his craft, which earned him respect but little fame. His personal life was marked by quiet struggles, including health challenges later in life that culminated in a battle with cancer. Kennedy's death on August 10, 1973, at the age of 57 was a loss to the Western genre, cutting short a career that had helped define television's portrayal of justice and order in the mid-20th century. Despite a modest net worth estimated around $1 million, his legacy persists subtly in the archetypes he helped cement, stoic lawmen and resolute protectors whose impact on American television endures, though often uncelebrated. Harlon Ward's presence in the Big Valley began in 1965 when he was 48, portraying complex, often cerebral roles such as Arthur Kleber and Drake, characters that exuded calm authority, intelligence, and ethical gravity. Born November 6, 1917, in Los Angeles, California, Ward grew up during the Great Depression, an experience that shaped his practical and grounded approach to life and work. His formative years were punctuated by his service in the U.S. Army Special Forces during World War II, a chapter that profoundly influenced his worldview and imbued him with a stoic discipline that translated seamlessly into his acting. Over a prolific career with more than 180 film and television credits, including roles in The Rifleman, The Virginian, and Perry Mason, Ward became known as a dependable supporting actor who brought a steady professionalism and intellectual depth to every role. Despite his consistent work, he shunned the Hollywood spotlight, maintaining a private personal life free from scandal or controversy, which contributed to his relative obscurity outside dedicated fan circles. Ward's death on March 13, 1980, at 62 closed the book on a career that, while not star-studded, was crucial in shaping the moral and intellectual fabric of many classic television dramas. His net worth at the time of death was estimated at about $1 million, reflecting a steady but understated career. His enduring legacy is that of a consummate craftsman whose roles provided the thoughtful backbone to stories often dominated by more flamboyant leads, making him a pillar of mid-century American television whose contributions remain quietly respected. Paul Sorenson entered the Big Valley in 1965 at age 39, carving a niche as a rugged everyman, portraying characters like blacksmiths and working-class figures such as Dave Sloan with authenticity born from a life steeped in real hardship and resilience. Born February 16, 1926, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Sorenson's childhood was shadowed by the Great Depression, a time that forged his strong work ethic and deep empathy for the struggles of ordinary Americans. His early adulthood was interrupted by military service during the Korean War, an experience that instilled discipline and a profound sense of duty. After his service, Sorenson studied at the Pasadena Playhouse, developing the acting skills that would sustain a prolific career spanning hundreds of television and film roles, including appearances on Dallas, The Brady Bunch, and classic westerns like Hang 'Em High. Unlike many actors who faltered in the Hollywood grind, Sorenson balanced his on-screen career with a deeply meaningful off-screen life. Alongside his wife and son, he became an ordained minister, combining his faith with his artistic vocation in a rare and compelling way. This dual identity as actor and spiritual leader enriched his life and gave him a purpose beyond the often transient nature of acting jobs. Sorenson's journey was marked by perseverance through the fickle nature of show business, a testament to his character and dedication. He passed away on July 17, 2008, at age 82, leaving behind a net worth of about $2 million, accumulated through decades of hard work and community service. His legacy is multifaceted, embodying the rugged American spirit in his performances while nurturing faith and compassion off-screen, creating a narrative that speaks to resilience, integrity, and the power of redemption. Bing Russell entered the Big Valley in 1965 at age 39, portraying rugged characters such as Clint and Dan Kelsey. On screen, Russell embodied the raw authenticity of the American West, blue-collar, principled men whose toughness was matched by an underlying moral compass. His performances carried a quiet but commanding presence that reflected not only his acting skill but his own lived experience. Behind the camera, Bing's life was a rich tapestry of artistic passion, rebellious spirit, and family devotion. Born Neil Oliver Russell on May 5, 1926, in Brattleboro, Vermont, into a modest New England family during the Great Depression, Russell grew up idolizing Western films and was drawn to storytelling from an early age. However, his path was unconventional. Beyond acting, he founded the Portland Mavericks, a minor league baseball team notorious for its fiercely independent ethos, open tryouts, and disdain for corporate baseball hierarchies. This venture challenged the status quo and became legendary for its unorthodox approach and David versus Goliath narrative in the world of professional sports. On a personal level, Bing was the patriarch of a Hollywood dynasty. His son Kurt Russell rose to become one of the most recognizable actors of his generation, and his grandsons Wyatt Russell and Matt Franco continued the legacy. Yet Bing's life was not without hardship. He faced career frustrations, often typecast and overlooked for leading roles, and endured legal battles to keep his baseball team's independence, which ultimately ended in defeat and heartbreak. These struggles shaped his worldview and fueled his maverick spirit. He died on April 8, 2003, at age 76 from cancer complications, leaving behind an estimated $10 million estate. His legacy transcends wealth, imbued in his influence on sports and entertainment, his pioneering spirit, and the powerful family lineage he nurtured. Bing Russell remains a symbol of rugged individualism and creative rebellion in Hollywood's golden era. Mark Tapscott was 42 when he joined the Big Valley in 1966, portraying steady and humble characters such as Bates and Burt. His performances reflected a life steeped in real-world experience and quiet dignity, shaped by his service in both World War II and the Korean War. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood in California during the Depression and war years, Tapscott's early life was marked by scarcity, sacrifice, and a deep-rooted sense of responsibility. Born December 15, 1924, in Bale, California, before Hollywood beckoned, his powerful baritone voice led him to musical theater, where he gained respect for his emotive delivery and stage presence. This foundation allowed him to transition seamlessly into television and film, where he often portrayed characters that embodied steadfastness and moral clarity. Off-screen, Tapscott was a man of deep personal conviction and community engagement. He was deeply involved in Masonic organizations and youth mentorship programs, dedicating much of his life to service beyond the limelight. His personal life was marked by profound loss. His first wife died in 1969, an event that profoundly affected him, yet he demonstrated resilience by remarrying and rebuilding his family life. Throughout his career, Tapscott remained a consummate professional, choosing roles that reflected his values rather than seeking fame. He died on September 10, 1993, in Los Angeles at age 68, with a modest net worth estimated around $500,000. Though he never became a household name, his influence is felt in the authentic, grounded characters he brought to life and the lives he touched through his community work, a legacy of quiet strength and dignity that echoes the very spirit of the American West he portrayed. Charles Bale was 30 when he appeared in The Big Valley in 1965, portraying physically demanding roles such as Brawler and Brown that capitalized on his extensive stunt work and rugged persona. Bale's screen presence was as much about the physicality and intensity he brought to his characters as it was about his versatility behind the scenes. Born August 1935 in Pennsylvania, raised in a working-class family in post-war Pennsylvania, Bale's youth was shaped by an attraction to adventure and risk. This drive led him to enlist in the Navy, where he gained discipline and a taste for the physical challenges that would define his career. Following military service, he toured with a Wild West show, honing the horseback riding, roping, and fight choreography skills that became his trademark in Hollywood westerns and action films. Bale was not content simply to be a stuntman. He transitioned into directing and acting, helming cult films like The Gumball Rally and Cleopatra Jones and The Casino of Gold. These projects showcased his flair for blending action with humor and style, earning him respect in the cult film community. Off-camera, Bale's life was no less dramatic. He lived with a cowboy's independence, raising horses in Texas and embodying the rugged lifestyle he often portrayed on screen. However, decades of punishing stunts took a toll. Chronic injuries and health complications led to his passing on November 25, 2020, at age 85 from heart and gallbladder issues. At death, his net worth was approximately $2 million, amassed through years of demanding stunt work, acting, and directing. Bale's legacy is deeply embedded in the DNA of Hollywood action. His daring stunts and pioneering spirit helped define the visceral thrill of westerns and action cinema, inspiring generations of stunt performers and actors who view him as a fearless trailblazer behind and in front of the camera. Walker Edmston, who appeared in The Big Valley in 1965 as Barney and the coroner at age 39, was a quietly influential figure whose talents extended far beyond the dusty western sets. Born February 6, 1926, in St. Louis, Missouri, Edmston grew up in a middle-class family that encouraged creativity but offered little in terms of showbiz connections. From a young age, he was drawn to radio dramas and puppetry, arts that would later define his unique Hollywood niche. Unlike many of his contemporaries who chased leading roles, Edmston carved out a remarkable career in voice acting and puppeteering, becoming a beloved, though often unrecognized, presence in children's entertainment. His subtle performances on The Big Valley reflected his ability to bring depth to even minor characters, grounding the frontier world in realism and humanity. His versatility shone in shows like Land of the Lost and The Transformers, where his voice gave life to fantastical creatures, while his puppeteering brought warmth and whimsy to Los Angeles-based children's programming. However, Edmston's journey was not without hardship. The instability of voice and puppetry work often meant inconsistent income and professional invisibility, which could weigh heavily on his spirit. Moreover, the creative isolation of his craft sometimes bred feelings of loneliness, compounded by the fact that puppeteers were rarely celebrated alongside traditional actors. Despite these challenges, Edmston persevered, turning adversity into artistic innovation. In later years, he faced a private battle with cancer, a fight he kept largely out of the public eye, emphasizing instead the joy his work brought to generations of children. He passed away on February 15, 2007, at 81, leaving behind a legacy valued at approximately $2 million, earned through decades of steady, dedicated work. More than a net worth, his true inheritance lies in the indelible cultural imprint he made through his voices and characters, quietly influencing the evolution of children's media and demonstrating the power of unseen artistry in Hollywood's landscape. Joe Higgins, who portrayed Mortensen and a passenger in the Big Valley at age 40 in 1965, was a figure whose life story melded small-town Midwestern roots with a surprising breadth of intellect in public service, setting him apart from many of his television contemporaries. Born July 12, 1925, in Logansport, Indiana, Higgins experienced a childhood shadowed by the economic difficulties of the Great Depression and the emotional hardship following the loss of his mother during his adolescence. These early struggles fostered a deep resilience and a commitment to education, leading him to earn a Ph.D. in aviation education, a rare academic achievement for a working actor. His career in Hollywood was distinctive not only for his appearances in popular series like Bonanza and The Rifleman, but also for his commanding, reassuring voice that became iconic in commercials and public service announcements, particularly where he portrayed sheriffs or authority figures. His multiple Clio Awards attest to his impact and recognition within the advertising industry. Yet Higgins's story was far richer than just entertainment. He cultivated a strong civic-mindedness, collaborating with the FBI on crime prevention initiatives, demonstrating a rare fusion of celebrity and public advocacy. The tension between his artistic pursuits and public service sometimes created personal challenges, including stress and health issues, culminating in a fatal heart attack on June 15, 1998. At the time of his death, his net worth stood near $1.5 million, a testament to a career marked by both financial prudence and steady work. Higgins's enduring legacy is twofold, as a recognizable and trusted presence on screen and airwaves, and as an example of how actors can leverage their platforms for community benefit, weaving entertainment with meaningful social engagement. Bill Quinn, who appeared in the Big Valley in 1965 as both a doctor and George Allison at age 53, represented a rare breed of actor whose career bridged the silent film era to late 20th century television with a breadth few could match. Born May 6, 1912, in New York City into a working-class Irish-American family, Quinn's formative years were shaped by the rapid urban growth and cultural shifts of early 20th century America, including the hardship of World War I and the Great Depression. These experiences instilled in him a groundedness and work ethic that carried him through the upheavals of the entertainment industry's evolution. Starting as a vaudeville performer and silent film actor, Quinn transitioned with remarkable agility into talkies and later television, amassing over 150 credited roles. His characters often carried a quiet authority, a testament to his own personal resilience and gravitas, seen in roles on The Birds and Star Trek V, and his recurring presence in Bob Newhart's sitcoms, to which he was connected by family ties as Newhart's father-in-law. Despite his professional success, Quinn's life was not without struggle. He faced the instability of Hollywood's studio system, typecasting, and the challenges of maintaining relevance as tastes changed. On the personal front, balancing a demanding career with family obligations required sacrifices and moments of tension, though he remained a devoted husband and father. Quinn's death on April 29, 1994, from natural causes marked the conclusion of a long, steady career. With an estate valued around $2 million, his financial legacy was modest but reflective of a life spent prioritizing craft over fame. His true cultural inheritance lies in his embodiment of an era of American entertainment defined by professionalism, adaptability, and a steadfast commitment to storytelling that influenced generations of actors who followed. Dick Kangji, appearing in the Big Valley in 1965 as an arm wrestler and buggy driver, was a compelling presence despite his limited screen time. Although he did not appear in Dances with Wolves, 1990, Kangji's rugged, physical roles on TV westerns cemented his image as a man of raw strength and grit, traits he brought authentically to the screen. Born June 14, 1933, in Ohio, Kangji's early years were shaped by a working-class environment where physical toughness was both a survival skill and a way of life. His ethnicity was primarily European American, and growing up during the Great Depression in a modest household left an indelible mark on him, fueling a quiet toughness rather than glamour or celebrity ambition. His childhood, far from the glitz of Hollywood, was rooted in blue-collar reality, poverty, hardship, and a community that valued resilience. This background translated into a niche career as a stuntman and character actor in westerns, where his skills behind the scenes were as valuable as his on-screen portrayals. However, tragedy shadowed his personal life. The physical demands of stunt work, coupled with the brutal reality of arm wrestling and driving buggies for stunts, led to numerous injuries, including a severe back injury that nearly ended his career. Emotionally, Kangji struggled with the precarious nature of stunt work, often uncredited and underappreciated, leading to bouts of depression and financial instability. Despite these setbacks, he reinvented himself by becoming a respected trainer and mentor for younger stunt performers, refusing to let his setbacks define him. In his later years, Kangji chose a quieter life away from the cameras, focusing on sharing his knowledge rather than seeking fame. His death in 2003 was relatively unheralded, a quiet end for a man who lived on the fringes of Hollywood's spotlight. His legacy is preserved in the stunt community, where he is remembered as a tough, reliable figure whose real-life grit matched the roles he played, an unsung hero of classic Western television. Kevin Hagen, who took on roles like Amos Farrell and Barney in the Big Valley starting in 1965, had a commanding presence that few could overlook. Born February 3, 1928, in Chicago, Illinois, Hagen came from a Midwestern family of German descent, growing up during the economic turmoil of the Great Depression. His childhood was marked by modest means and a deep connection to the Lutheran Church, which influenced his values and provided a stable refuge amid societal instability. Despite these foundations, his early years weren't without struggle. Hagen faced the harsh realities of post-war America, including periods of poverty and the emotional strain of his father's death when Kevin was still a teenager. These losses and hardships infused his acting with a depth and empathy that enriched every role he undertook. In the Big Valley, his portrayal of humble, down-to-earth characters like Amos Farrell resonated with audiences precisely because of this authenticity. Outside the camera, however, Hagen's life took a dramatic turn in 1996 when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. This diagnosis, devastating for an actor reliant on physicality and control, forced him into semi-retirement and sparked a new mission, advocacy and awareness for Parkinson's patients. Rather than retreat, Hagen became a vocal champion for research and patient support, sharing his journey publicly to destigmatize the illness. His openness helped shift public perceptions and inspired others to face their own health battles with courage. Though his acting career slowed, his legacy expanded beyond entertainment into humanitarian work. Kevin Hagen passed away in 2005 at 77, leaving behind a net worth estimated at $500,000, modest but reflective of a life devoted more to craft and cause than to wealth. His cultural impact is remembered through both his heartfelt performances and his tireless advocacy, a man who turned personal tragedy into a platform for hope. Though time has passed, the laughter they gave us still echoes. The cast of the Big Valley brought joy to millions, and even though some of them are no longer with us, their performances live on. As we remember those we've lost, we also celebrate the legacy they left behind, one that continues to entertain and connect generations. Thank you for joining us in honoring these unforgettable stars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tributes to the legends of television history.